This is going to be the year that you break out of your shell to become the full time content creator that you were meant to be. But I want to tell you that it's not just content creation that's going to be at the core of what it is that you do. You are going to develop a business that you can scale, and the content is going to serve as the marketing for that business. If you think about your content creation journey in that way, then it gives you more meaning and it gives you more purpose to the how and the why and the what in terms of what you create. It's going to determine what you're creating content about. It's going to determine how often you create content. It's also going to determine who you begin to attract, how you begin to attract that person or those people, and then what you direct them towards in this process. Some of that may sound like a bit more than what you bargained for when you started this video, but I'm going to break it down so simply for you that even a fifth grader could do this. And we know this because there are fifth graders who are doing this exact same thing. So, just a little bit of background about me. I've worked in news for much of my adult career. I have been a DJ, I've appeared on reality TV on a show called Stripped on Bravo. And I've done it all. I have hosted and sold out group trips, sold high ticket products. I have coached students, some of whom who have gone on to create their own products, courses, master classes, as well as generated more than 7 to 10,000 in ad revenue with a single video. So when it comes to this space, I know what I'm talking about. I've created more than 3,000 videos in my time as a creator, and I've generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. So, again, we know what we're talking about here, but I want to make this simple for you because so often I run into clients who overcomplicate this process, and it doesn't have to be that way. One of the first things that I like to help people get clarity on is what it is that you are offering. What is the transformation that you want to take people on? Because I firmly believe in working with people who want to make a difference. I want to work with people who want to see other people make a change. So we have to get really clear on the transformation that you want to take people on. What's that journey? And I like to think of this journey as a point to point system. So when we're talking, we're going to develop an idea that will take people from either A to D, which could be a point where they get enough information that they can get a quick win and then they can move on their own with the knowledge that you have provided them. We do this in the form of ebooks, mini courses, PDFs, informational sessions, and webinars. Then we want to think about the A to Z journey. That is going to be something much more intensive. That's where you work with this person one on one, or I work with the client one on one, and we take them on an entire journey of transformation. We walk with them, we hold their hand. There are done for you aspects, there are done with you aspects, and there are also aspects that will hopefully help them get from this place to this place. And then once they get from A to Z, then it's up to them to travel beyond. That's the space where your client or your customer, they have reached some goals and they have set some objectives for themselves and they're actively doing the work for themselves. So we want to get clear on what that journey is. An A to Z journey looks like intensive coaching, one to one coaching, group mentorship, a long term mentorship community, or it could be some type of masterclass that is like a day long session, or maybe over the course of several weeks, you are dripping them information so that they can actually achieve the goals that you have set for them. So we like to get clear on what the purpose is. What is the transformation that you're going to be providing? And then what points in the transformation are you going to take them? That will help you establish the products that you provide or the services that you provide. So getting those things down first is super important because your content is going to be based around that. So often people do this in the reverse. A lot of people will start with the content in mind, but what you then do is you force yourself to rely simply on ad revenue. And I just think that it's super smart to start with the end result in mind. So if we start with the end result in mind, which is a transformation of some sort, that could be something as simple as learning how to update your iPhone or how to find the right perfume fragrance that fits your body type. There are plenty of things out there that you can be helping people do because you have an area of expertise. The problem is you just haven't honed in on the one that is going to help the most people, or the one that you're the most passionate about, the one that feels good to the heart and to the home. So once you figure that out, and that's something that we get clarity on together. And I do that through a series of targeted questions that really open up your mind so that you can then really think about, who do I really want to impact? And how do I want to impact them? And what is going to make me feel the most comfortable doing so? We really get to the root of that. And then we talk about how you can best serve those clients. That is either going to be the A to D journey, or that's going to be the A to Z journey. Which one? One is going to be a lot more intensive, one is going to be a lot higher ticket, and then one is going to be something that they can easily get access to and that is going to provide them with a quick win, like an ebook or something that's in the $7 to $97 range. I like the 27 to 47. I think that's a sweet spot for people that they don't really have to think that much about investing, and they know they can get something tangible out of whatever it is that you're providing. For some of you, you will think to yourselves, well, I hadn't really thought of it in this way. I just thought I wanted to be a content creator. That's fine. But in order to build something long term, we need to have a vehicle that is going to take us places beyond just what the ad revenue will do. Because algorithms may change, but your email list, your customer base, your tech subscription group, your membership community, you own those things. So while the algorithm may do this, your stream of conversation and dialogue with your audience, it will always do this, and it will just keep growing because the algorithm does not have anything to do with your list. So now that we've got that established, we have our journey set in our mind. We know exactly what we're going to be talking about, what we're going to be providing for people, the transformation that is involved. And we have an idea of who we're going to be talking to, because that is also super important, and we really drill down to determine what that is. But I think that there are some barriers that most people need to break through in order to really understand who that target audience is going to be. And we really discover that with a hand holding approach. And again, a targeted series of questions that really hit at your core of who you are, where you want to be, and who you want to serve. Those things are extremely important, because then that serves as a guideline for the vertical that you are going to be working from within your content. And when I say vertical, I just mean that this is a stack of topics that is all related to the same topic. So your topic could be finance. You love finances, and maybe you have a specialty in accounting. So you have been a bookkeeper, or you have bookkeeping experience, or you have been an accountant. So maybe your content is going to be focused on not only finance, accounting, tax season, financial news, investing, tax strategy. All of those things can fall under that umbrella because you have quite a variety of interests. And so we want to make sure that we have a broad range of topics that are centered around this vertical, so that we can start testing what really truly works for the audience that you're trying to build. So as you're developing this content, and we've discovered what those verticals are going to be, and again, they're a vertical because we're stacking these things and they all flow down to the same thing, the same foundation, which is finance, and the offer that you are providing, which is going to either take them from point A to D or A to Z, because you can have both. That A to D journey takes them, it reels them into your world, into your orbit. but that A to Z journey is really where you do the intense work to get them to where they want to be. So much of what we do is focused on value and transformation. If what you're doing is not really focused on value and transformation, then I think that you may have a harder time with all of this. The other side of that is there are some clients of mine that generally don't have a expertise that they can think of to focus on. So in the interim, what we do is we work with them to find an affiliate product that will also work in lieu of the thing that they're eventually going to do. So we try to match an affiliate product with the person so that they have a so that it works in tandem. They understand it, they know it, they enjoy it, they really use that affiliate program. So we do want to get them involved in that so that they can also speak from a place of truth and transparency. But I really do love it when we can work with someone who says, I want to do this and I have this desire to create it. Because if it is an ebook that you want, then we would set you up with the ebook in a day course that comes complementary with our A to Z journey. And then you can apply those principles to get your ebook written in 2 hours. It's that simple. So I have those two pathways as well. There's an A to D journey, which is the creator starter kit, which is in the link below. That is for someone who I want to dip my toe into this. I understand what this can do for me, but I would love to see some examples of this in action. The creator starter kit has a 2 hour strategy session with one of my clients who, within just a few short months, was able to generate over $7,000 in ad revenue from one video. That's not even counting all of the other videos. That's not counting the growth that that one video has had since that point in time that we recorded that session. And we walked through her entire strategy from A to Z. I love the point to point system because we can utilize it for so many things. And it is completely understandable to anyone who understands what the alphabetical journey is like. So we walk her through that process. So people who are interested in seeing if this really can work for them, they can get that creator starter kit and they can start. They have a basis for where to start. They also get my 0 to 6 figures on YouTube ebook because that also details my own journey, exactly what I did, and it gives them information that they can utilize in order to really get this thing started. The A to Z journey is kind of what I've been talking about. We give them the entire breakthrough. We're breaking through that mindset to really determine what it is that you want to do. We're breaking through the barriers of can you really do this? And what does it take? And we get rid of that imposter syndrome because so many of us have this thing inside of us that feels like, I can't do that. What are people going to say? They're looking at me. They're talking about me. I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't like the way I look. I don't want to be on camera. So, what do? We break through those barriers because that's all they are. Once we break through the barriers, then we start to really understand what the offer is, how we're going to position this, the content vertical that we're going to be working with. And then we set about determining what the content strategy is going to look like. That could look very different for different people. Some people are still working their 9 to 5. Some people have maybe quit their jobs or found themselves in a position where they no longer had a job, or they have been full-time content creators for a while, but they haven't tapped into this aspect of long form content where there is really an opportunity to develop a know, like, and trust factor. And I just think that YouTube is such an interesting space because it allows for longer conversations, more detailed explanations, and a true understanding of what it takes to actually do something that short form content kind of condenses. I do think that short form content is amazing for gaining attention. And the more they see something, the more they begin to trust it. But with YouTube, there is this long form aspect that people can really do a deep dive into. They can listen to a creator on YouTube while they're on their drive to work, while they're getting ready in the morning, while they're cooking, while they're eating, while they are cleaning the house, while they are doing so many other things, this can be on in the background and they can be getting education or getting information or being entertained in a way that is also not obtrusive to their actual day to day life. And I oftentimes think that YouTube is a bit healthier than traditional social media because there's not this continuous scroll. And I think that there's something to be said for giving attention to a few things at one time. That's another thing we also discuss is where do we start this journey? Because I could go down a whole rabbit hole about what is healthy about social media and what is not. But the objective here is really to determine the channel and the platform that we're going to be working with. The conversation that I often have with people is this: which area feels like home? It's really as simple as that. That's where you start. We don't have to start being all over the place. We don't have to start by exhausting ourselves, trying so many different things when we haven't learned to flex the muscle that we need to work in the beginning. And that is content creation in general, creating content around the specific offer, product, service that we're providing and helping people and giving as much value as we possibly can. And then we work on specific monetization strategies to convert those viewers into buyers, customers, and really particularly long-term customers. I always think about the lifetime value of a customer, which is why I focus so heavily on being super communicative with the people that I work with. Because while the work that we do together is a form of accountability, because now they have a higher standard for which to operate from, but it's also a way for me to make sure that we are connected so that they feel like they can trust me. Because here's the thing: when we talk, I want you to feel as though someone finally cares and gets it because I do. I've been in your shoes. I understand the struggles. And nine times out of 10, when I'm working with someone, I see a bit of a mirror. I see myself in so many of the people that I work with because I was once at that point. And so I tend to attract a certain clientele because we've been in certain spaces. And the same will happen for you. The same will happen for you. When you show up as your authentic self, and really just honestly focus on providing value over and over and over again. And we talk about specific ways that you can tell your story within a particular framework so that you can do that without having to be overwhelmed by what you should say when you get on camera. We talk about that. That is what the breakthrough to breakthrough, that's what that's all about. So when you think about this whole process from end to end of becoming a content creator, I really want you to think more about how do I make this my business? And once you determine that this is your business, you begin to take this so much more seriously. And everything that we take seriously and we put energy into, those are the things that blossom and grow. Energy flows where attention goes. And then the other thing that we establish are next action steps. What are the next steps that are going to take you further in this journey? What are the homework assignments that you are to complete within the next week to 30 days? What will you commit to for yourself so that you can get to that next level? Because I will tell you, there is nothing that actually is between you and that next level except your commitment. If you can commit to yourself to follow a detailed plan that we have curated together, or that you have finally decided that you are going to do, then you become unstoppable. You absolutely become unstoppable. It is that commitment, that consistency, that desire to do it regardless of how you feel that day. That is going to be the thing that takes you to the next level. And if you can conquer your mind, your mindset, then you are actually probably about 60% of the way there. Everything else is simply action and execution. That is the reason why so many people are stuck where they are, because nine times out of 10, they are stuck in a cage that's not even locked. So if this video resonated with you, I hope it inspires you to action. I invite you to check out the Creator Starter Kit. I invite you to check out the one-to-one mentorship. I invite you to simply take a step in the right direction for yourself, whatever that is today. If you are choosing you today, I want you to write in the chat or in the comments, I commit. I commit. Write that in the chat. And then I will know that you have seen this video and that you have made a decision that today is the day that you have committed to changing your life. Seeing those words written by yourself in those comments is going to trigger something in you. It's going to unlock a door that had been previously locked, closed, and hammered shut. And you have just released yourself to now accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. I hope that this video finds you well. If you like this type of content, please subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you here. I cannot wait to continue to provide value for you, and I will catch you in the next video.